betray us. No match preview again. And you guys have been really thinking that I'm not obviously going to come up to obviously give you the match preview. But I tell you what, it was a must, and I had to come in here and obviously give you the match preview for Arsenal being hosted by Newcastle in there. Why is this game really very important for the club of Arsenal? You've already gone ahead to view the videos that I've gone ahead to post in here onto the Rokani Media Football, and that has been the match reaction. Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously gate a closing in boost as far as the table is really concerned. Liverpool have gone ahead to be beaten by a team called Crystal Palace. That is really well set into what your thoughts are. And in that, we all know to it that the side of Liverpool is really one of those that has gone ahead to obviously go ahead and come into match day 6 when they've gone ahead to win all their games. You understand? They had gone ahead to win all their games. And I tell you what, winning all their games is really very, very, very important. But this time around, they've been stopped by a force known as Crystal Palace, and they are being managed by Oliver Glasner into the mix. So let's get into this game of football. Newcastle is a team that Arsenal is going to be facing today. And I tell you what, they are placed 15th. They've played 5 games. They've won 1, they've drawn 3, and they've lost 1. Meaning that Arsenal is coming at the stadium known as St. James's Park when this team is obviously thirsty for a win. And remember, they've drawn with Bournemouth 0-0. They've beaten Wolves 1-0. They've drawn with Leeds, and they lost to Liverpool 2-3 at their stadium, and they drew with Aston Villa. Meaning that they are lacking those goals that can obviously see them really get into the levels of obviously collecting in some huge points that maybe will come up and obviously brag about them, or give them what we call bragging rights as a club of Newcastle. Arsenal comes into this game of football when they've gone ahead to obviously win 3 games, drawn 1 and lost 1. And they've only gone ahead to concede 2 goals in those 5 games. Match day 6 is really very important, and it is really very meaningful to the side of Arsenal, as I've told you that if Arsenal goes ahead to really win, you know where they will be. Arsenal will be 2 points behind Liverpool. It will take Arsenal to 13 points. And remember, next weekend, there are games that will see us get into their games that will see the clubs get into some tough games. For example, I can let you know who Liverpool is obviously going to be playing next. Liverpool, I repeat it, Liverpool is going to be playing Liverpool. Oh my God, where is Liverpool is going to be playing Chelsea away. You understand? And Arsenal is going to be hosting West Ham, meaning that the side of Arsenal knows it that Chelsea can stand Liverpool at the Stamford Bridge. And this time around, Arsenal will play fast than the side of Liverpool, meaning that the game that Arsenal is going to be playing against Newcastle tomorrow is really very important, as it really takes Arsenal into the top position, next weekend. I tell you, Liverpool aren't going to be collecting 3 points from the Stamford Bridge. Chelsea have been beaten twice. And I don't think that Enzo Maresca will allow to lose to a side known as Liverpool and then get himself into danger of really being sacked. So the only way he can obviously get back into the title race is beating Liverpool, because they're having 8 points. That is Chelsea, and Liverpool is 7 points ahead of them, meaning that if he beats Liverpool, he will close down those 7 points to 4. You understand? So Arsenal are going to be beating West Ham next weekend before we get into the international break, and Liverpool is obviously going to be having a very tough game ahead of them. And who plays first? It's Arsenal. And if Arsenal goes ahead to win, they'll obviously get on top of the table and they'll be having 16 points. That means Liverpool will get into that game of Chelsea when they're really having a lot of pressure. You understand? So that's what tomorrow's win for Arsenal really means. And they should get into this game of football knowing that they are really, 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 really having a very huge task ahead of them. And that huge task has to see them come through and do the needful for their club. So smash the like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as don't miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a day. My birthday week is really coming to an end, but I haven't seen any member of this channel really sending me a gift, a birthday gift. You guys, you don't really want to really wish me a birthday, guys. It was my birthday on the 22nd and 5 days in, and nothing has obviously gone ahead to pop up in here as a gift. Please, please, the viewers of this channel, please don't act like that. Please don't act like that. You understand? But I'm having Douglas Banda, I'm having Andre Gali, I'm having Mukisa Daniel and Chris Pihano. They are also, and Cipriano are also already into the mix. And now let's get to the detail of the game. Arsenal versus Newcastle match preview. Now, Arsenal is coming to this game of football with I think a player called Gabriel Jesus out, Kai Havertz out, you know. So those two players are totally out. The manager of Arsenal told us that Martin Odegaard has obviously gone ahead to train with them and is really back. So Arsenal are really having two serious injuries. The rest of the players are readily available. That is it. When we go to the side of Newcastle, you know, Fabian Schär, Wissa, Jacob Ramsey, all those are really out, you know. We obviously wait and see how the manager obviously do the needful, but those three players are totally out of that Newcastle team. So the rest of the players are really available, you know. And we've gone ahead to see to it that they come in through and obviously face the club of Arsenal. That means we head into the probable starting 11 for the club of Arsenal. Not so? That's where we're really heading to. And we get to the system that the manager is obviously going to be deploying. It's obviously a 4-3-3 system. That's what Mikel Arteta is deploying into this particular game of football. And obviously, David Raya is going to be in between the stitches for the club of Arsenal. That is it. No doubt. He's the most clean-sheeted goalkeeper in the Premier League, you know, and he has gone ahead to do the needful and really score very, very many goals. I must tell you that he has gone ahead to save very many goals, and he has conceded only 2 goals ever since the season went ahead to start. And that means in the 3 games they've gone ahead to really win, he hasn't obviously gone ahead to concede, you know. United 1-0, Leeds 5-0, Nottingham 3-0. City 1-1, he conceded. Liverpool 1-0, he went ahead to concede a goal. 3 clean sheets, and Arsenal is the team that has gone ahead to concede the least number of goals in the Premier League this season. And they are really doing it for the 4th season almost in a row. That is Arsenal for you. Right back, obviously, Benjamin White is back, but obviously, it's going to be none other than Julian Timber. He's that special. And in a game like this, where Arsenal is going to have hardships at the side of Newcastle, I tell you what, they need to go in there. And I think for 3 consecutive seasons, Arsenal has not gone at Newcastle and collected a win, meaning that this time around with the signings they've gone ahead to make, they need to obviously show us something different. And what is that something different? They have to come up and obviously represent to the fullest and really collect 3 points. Because if you are to win a trophy, you are supposed to get 90% of things that you got wrong last season right in this season. And one of those things that Arsenal has to get right is going to St. James's Park, and they really beat Newcastle and they collect 3 points. You understand? Left back, Riccardo Carafiori. No doubt about that. It's Riccardo Carafiori. And Arsenal, by the way, are here to rest good players. Very many players. All these players that I've gone ahead to read so far were arrested in the game they played midweek. And Arsenal was really gearing up for the game against Newcastle. Right-sided centre-back, William Saliba takes his nod again to obviously play into that position after agreeing a new contract with the club of Arsenal, how the manager can obviously draw him or really throw him straight into the team like he did in the midweek and like he did when they're playing against Man City. Left-sided centre-back, it's Gabriel Magalhaes, no doubt about it. And you know how hard it needs to go at Newcastle. And none of this is a novice playing at the St. James's Park that capacitates 52,000 people. You understand? So they know how toxic that place is, and it has to be into their heads that the Newcastle side will obviously bring their A game to the club of Arsenal, and Arsenal will do the needful. When we get to the midfield, no doubt, Zubimendi was rested in the game they played against Port Valley, but he was really one of those players that the manager was like, I need you to rest because you know who you're obviously going to be facing. He's going to be facing a tough midfield of Joe Wellington, Bruno Guimaraes, and Sandro Tonali. You understand? That's who they're obviously going to be facing in there. So Declan Rice comes in through to do the needful to play into that box-to-box midfield position for the club of Arsenal. And in this particular fixture, we all believe that he really has a lot to add onto that midfield. Then the number 10 with Martin Odegaard back, Eze being played there. You ask yourself, who should be played as a number 10? I'm going to be explaining you my reason as to why Eberechi Eze should be played in here. Because all I know is that he's really a special player. And if you're going at Newcastle, you can't really play Waneri ahead of Eberechi Eze. You can't. You can't play Eberechi Eze off the bench and really start Ethan Waneri. Even you can't start a player who goes by the names of Odegaard, yet he's really returning from injury. And you have a player who played well during the midweek and even went ahead to score a beautiful goal. That is our man who goes by the names of Eberechi Eze. So you start him into the team and see how he'll obviously go ahead to do the needful. You understand? Right forward, no doubt, with Noni Madueke injured, you have to talk about a player known as Bukayo Saka coming in through to play into that position. Obviously, Saka will start. And on the left, the reason as to why I've gone ahead to obviously see Eberechi Eze being played into the midfield, it's because I think Leandro Trossard has really raised his hand that he needs to get into the starting 11 for the side of Arsenal this time round. And for Martinelli, he has shown us that he has obviously gone ahead to thrive when he comes off the bench most of the times. Not so? So, if a player has shown you that he thrives when he's coming off the bench most of the times, you know the duels. And what are they? Get him into the team. He came off the bench and really scored a very beautiful goal. That is Leandro Trossard for you. And that's another yet goal into the season. Remember, in the Premier League, I think he has an assist, Champions League, 1 goal, 1 assist. And now in the Carabao Cup, a goal has gone ahead to knock in. In the Carabao Cup, he came off the bench and really gave Arsenal a 2-0 lead. You understand? So, as it stands, I really play Trossard in there as a player who plays into the left forward position in there. So that is Leandro Trossard for you. And I want to let you know that he is really ready to take on everybody in there. So, Trossard leading that left forward role, and who leads the line? It's Victor Gyökeres. He came off the bench when they are playing against a team called Port Valley. You remember that very well. So that is my probable starting 11 for the club of Arsenal. I don't know what your thoughts are about it, but that's it for me. And we now wait and see what your thoughts are. For Newcastle, we expect Pop in goal. They play a 4-3-3 system. Kylian Trippier right back. Left back, Livramento. Then Butman and Ban into the central defense. Now, the midfield three. Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali, Joelinton will be played in the midfield three. And the front three will be having Elanga, Walter Made, and Anthony Gordon. Now, it's obviously a very hard team to obviously come and really beat. But one thing that Arsenal fans should come out and really capitalize onto is all about... but one thing that Arsenal players should come out and capitalize onto is the bench, you know? Because for Newcastle, their bench is really weak. They don't have very many players off the bench that can come and really change the game. But look at Arsenal, you know? On their bench, they'll be having Martinelli, Max Dowman, you know? They'll be having Nogard, Waneri, Benjamin White, who else? You know? So, Arsenal will be having a better bench, and it will be a game that I think will be won from the bench. Who do you come into field to obviously rescue your team? And the other factor that Arsenal has to brag on is that Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously concede only and only 2 goals. That is it. Arsenal has gone ahead to concede only and only 2 goals. Now, Newcastle is placed 13th, is placed 15th, and they've gone ahead to really score 3, and they've conceded 3. So, they don't concede very many goals, but the fact is, they also don't score many. What does it mean to a club like Arsenal, who have gone ahead to score many goals in the Premier League, and they haven't? And they haven't gone ahead to obviously defend well. So, that means it gives Arsenal an upper hand to see to it that they really win this game and obviously score goals. And how do you win such a game of football? You win such a game of football by really scoring very many goals in there. I know the midfield battle is really going to be huge, but Arsenal will obviously have to break down Newcastle to really see themselves get into the mix. Pressure is on them, we won't lie, because they know what will happen if at all they beat Newcastle. Maybe it will be the turning point for Arsenal's title hopes in there for you. So, we do have the following head-to-head stats. Newcastle United have won each of their last 3 home games against Arsenal in all competitions without conceding a single goal, while they last won 4 in a row at home to the Gunners in August 1969. You understand? Mikel Arteta, Arsenal, under Mikel Arteta, Arsenal have only lost more away games at Man City in all competitions 5 than they have away to Newcastle, which is meaning that if they really do the needful, it might obviously add up to that you're really telling me. Thirdly, Newcastle have kept 4 clean sheets in their Premier League games this season, conceding only in their 3-2 defeat to Liverpool. However, the Magpies have also failed to score in 3 of their 5 league games so far. So in 3 of their league games so far, they haven't gone ahead to obviously score a goal. That is an advantage to Arsenal. Fourthly, Newcastle have won just 1 of their last 7 Premier League games. 3 draws, 3 losses. A run that started with a 1-0 defeat to Arsenal. They failed to score in 5 of these 7 games as many times as they had in their previous game. All right. Lastly, Arsenal have lost just 1 of their 16 Premier League games away, and that is 8 wins and 7 draws, though this did come last time out at Liverpool. Only twice since 2022 have the Gunners lost consecutive league games on the road, with the second defeat both times coming at Newcastle in 2022 and November 2004. So that's exactly what you're really having in here. And after this, we obviously have to head into my prediction, and 2-1 win for the club of Arsenal. That is it. 2-1 win for the club of Arsenal. Those in the comment section, Douglas Banda, greetings from Zambia, proudly Arsenal, all right. Andre Gali, it's going to be a tough machine. It's going to be a tough match, but without Isak, so it's going to be a tough match with Isak. I predict a 3-0. Andre says, I think Mikel Arteta will give the crowd the respect they really have. Mokisa Daniel, watching live from Abu Dhabi. Spriano, Arsenal should win, Newcastle to boost. Arsenal must win this game. Then Nathaniel from Belgium, good evening, my brother. Ochan, Oscar, hey bro. Douglas Ibanda, happy belated birthday. Good evening, everyone, and happy belated birthday. Thank you. Andre says, clean sheet, rare, must be. We wait and see whether he'll obviously keep one. And Nathaniel says 3-1 win for the club of Arsenal. And this is where I come in through with my prediction. I said a 2-1 win for the club of Arsenal against Newcastle. I really sign out for now. See you later. And don't at any one point forget to subscribe, because we need to see ourselves really hitting the milestone of how many subscribers? Of 28,000 subscribers.